a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is an American businessman and investor. He is the owner of the National Basketball Association's Dallas Mavericks, co-owner of 2929 Entertainment and chairman of AXS TV. He is also one of the main shark investors on the ABC reality television series, Shark Tank. In 2011, Cuban wrote an e-book, How to Win at the Sport of Business, in which he chronicles his experiences in business and sports. Early life. Cuban was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His father, Norton Cuban, was an automobile upholsterer, while Cuban has described his mother, Shirley, as someone with a different job or different career goal every other week. He grew up in the suburb of Mount Lebanon, in a Jewish working-class family. His paternal grandfather changed the family name from Chabanisky to Cuban after his family emigrated from Russia through Ellis Island. His maternal grandparents, who were also Jewish, came from Romania. Cuban's first step into the business world occurred at age 12, when he sold garbage bags to pay for a pair of expensive basketball shoes. At age 16, Cuban took advantage of a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike by running newspapers from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. Instead of attending high school for his senior year, he enrolled as a full-time student at the University of Pittsburgh, where he joined the Pi Lambda Phi International Fraternity. While attending the University of Pittsburgh, he held a variety of jobs including a bartender, disco dancing instructor, and a party promoter. Growing up in Pittsburgh and attending college there as well caused him to become a beloved fan of their NFL team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. After 1 year at the University of Pittsburgh, he transferred to Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, and graduated from the Kelley School of Business in 1981 with a Bachelor of Science degree in management. He chose Indiana's Kelley School of Business without even visiting the campus, because it had the least expensive tuition of all the business schools on a top 10 list. During college he had various business ventures, including a bar, disco lessons, and a chain letter. Business career. In 1982, Cuban moved to Dallas, Texas, where he first found work as a bartender, and then as a salesperson for Your Business Software, one of the earliest PC software retailers in Dallas. He was fired less than a year later, after meeting with a client to procure new business instead of opening the store. Cuban started his own company, Micro Solutions, with support from his previous customers from Your Business Software. Micro Solutions was initially a system integrator and software reseller. The company was an early proponent of technologies such as Carbon Copy, Lotus Notes, and CompuServe. One of the company's largest clients was Perot Systems. In 1990, Cuban sold Micro Solutions to CompuServe, then a subsidiary of H&R Block, for $6 million. He made approximately $2 million after taxes on the deal. Audionet and Broadcast.com. In 1995, Chris Jebb and fellow Indiana University alumnus Todd Wagner started Audionet, combining their mutual interest in Indiana Hoosier College basketball and webcasting. With a single server and an ISDN line, Audionet became Broadcast.com in 1998. By 1999, Broadcast.com had grown to 330 employees and $13.5 million in revenue for the second quarter. In 1999, Broadcast.com helped launch the first live-streamed Victoria's Secret fashion show. That year, during the dot-com boom, Broadcast.com was acquired by Yahoo! For $5.7 billion in Yahoo! Stock. After the sale of Broadcast.com, Cuban diversified his wealth to avoid exposure to a market crash. The Guinness Book of Records credits Cuban with the largest single e-commerce transaction, after he paid $40 million for his Gulfstream V-Jet in October 1999. Cuban continues to work with Wagner in another venture, 2929 Entertainment, which provides a vertically integrated production and distribution of films and video. On September 24, 2003, the firm purchased Landmark Theatres, a chain of 58 art house movie theaters. The company is also responsible for the updated version of the TV show Star Search, which was broadcast on CBS. 2929 Entertainment released Bubble, a movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, in theaters on January 27, 2006, and DVD 4 days later as a simultaneous release. Cuban was featured on the cover of the November 2003 premiere issue of Best magazine announcing the arrival of high-definition television. Cuban also was co-founder of AXS TV, the first high-definition satellite television network. In February 2004, Cuban announced that he would be working with ABC Television to produce a reality television series, The Benefactor. The premise of the 6-episode series involved 16 contestants trying to win $1 million by participating in various contests, with their performances being judged by Cuban. It premiered on September 13, 2004, but due to poor ratings, the series was cancelled before the full season aired. In 2011, Cuban was number 211 on Forbes' list of world's richest people, with a net worth of $2.6 billion. Cuban financially supported Grokster in the Supreme Court case, MGM v. Grokster. He is also a partner in Synergy Sports Technology, a web-based basketball scouting and video delivery tool, used by many NBA teams. Investments in startups. Cuban has also assisted ventures in the social software and distributed networking industries. He is an owner of Ice Rocket, a search engine that scours the blogosphere for content. Cuban was also a partner in Red Swoosh, a company which uses peer-to-peer technology to deliver rich media, including video and software, to a user's PC, later acquired by Akamai. He was also an investor in Weblogs, Incorporated, which was acquired by AOL. In 2005, Cuban invested in Brondell Incorporated, a San Francisco startup making a high-tech toilet seat called a swash that works like a bidet, but mounts on a standard toilet. People tend to approach technology the same way, whether it's in front of them or behind them, Cuban joked. He also invested in GoOE Media Incorporated, a San Diego internet software startup. In April 2006, Sirius Satellite Radio announced that Cuban would host his own weekly radio talk show, Mark Cuban's Radio Maverick. However, the show has not materialized. In July 2006, Cuban financed ShareSleuth.com, a website created by former St. Louis Post-Dispatch investigative reporter Christopher Carey to uncover fraud and misinformation in publicly traded companies. Experimenting with a new business model for making online journalism financially viable, Cuban disclosed that he would take positions in the shares of companies mentioned in ShareSleuth.com in advance of publication. Business and legal analysts questioned the appropriateness of shorting a stock prior to making public pronouncements which are likely to result in losses in that stock's value. Cuban insisted that the practice is legal in view of full disclosure. In April 2007, Cuban partnered with Mascot Books to publish his first children's book, Let's Go, Mavs. In November 2011, he wrote a 30,000-word e-book, How to Win at the Sport of Business, If I Can Do It, You Can Do It, which he described as a way to get motivated. In October 2008, Cuban started BailoutSleuth.com as a grassroots, online portal for oversight over the U.S. government's $700 billion bailout of financial institutions. In September 2010, Cuban provided an undisclosed amount of venture capital to storefront analytics company MotionLoft. According to the company's CEO John Mills, he cold-emailed Cuban on a whim with a business proposition, and claimed Cuban quickly responded that he would like to hear more. Mills credited that sentence for launching the company. In November 2013, several investors questioned Cuban about Mills' representation of a pending acquisition of MotionLoft. Cuban denied an acquisition was in place. Mills was terminated as CEO of MotionLoft by stockholders on December 1, 2013, and in February 2014 was arrested by the FBI and charged with wire fraud, it being alleged that Mr. Mills misrepresented to investors that MotionLoft was going to be acquired by Cisco. Cuban has gone on record to state that the technology, that at least in part is meant to serve the commercial real estate industry, is game-changing for tenants. Shark Tank. Cuban has been a shark investor on the ABC reality program Shark Tank since Season 2 in 2011. As of July 2017, he has invested in 85 deals across 111 Shark Tank episodes, for a total of $19.9 million invested. The actual numbers vary, because the investment happens after the handshake deal on live television, after the due diligence is performed, to ensure the accuracy of the information presented in the pitch room. For instance, Henry, Connecticut, a manufacturer of easily removable fire hoses, after agreeing to a deal of $1.25 million for 100% of the company with Cuban, did not go through with the deal. Cuban's top 3 deals, all with at least $1 million invested, are 1031 Productions, Rugged Maniac Obstacle Race, and Beatbox Beverages. Since Cuban joined the show in 2011, the ratings for Shark Tank have increased, and also during his tenure, the show has won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Structured Reality Program. As of November 2017, Cuban was the richest of all sharks who appeared on the show. Magnolia Pictures. Cuban owns film distributor Magnolia Pictures. Through Magnolia, he financed Redacted, a fictional dramatization written and directed by Brian De Palma. In September 2007, Cuban, in his capacity as owner of Magnolia Pictures, redacted disturbing photographs from the concluding moments of the film, citing copyright/permissions issues. Also in 2007, Cuban was reportedly interested in distributing through Magnolia an edition of the film Loose Change, which posits a 9/11 conspiracy theory, with Charlie Sheen narrating. Cuban told the New York Post, "We are having discussions about distributing the existing video, with Charlie's involvement as a narrator, not in making a new feature. We are also looking for productions with an opposing viewpoint. We like controversial subjects, but we are agnostic to which side the controversy comes from." In April 2011, Cuban put Magnolia Pictures and Landmark Theaters up for sale, but said, "If we don't get the price and premium we want, we are happy to continue to make money from the properties." SEC insider trading allegation. On November 17, 2008, it was reported that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a civil suit against Cuban relating to alleged insider trading in the shares of Mama.com, now known as Copernic. A stock dilution occurred shortly after a trade in June 2004, giving hints of inside knowledge at the time of the trade, and Cuban allegedly was saved from a loss of $750,000. The SEC claimed that Cuban ordered the sale of his holdings in Mama.com after he had been confidentially approached by the company to participate in a transaction likely to dilute shares of current shareholders. Cuban disputed the charges, saying he had not agreed to keep the information secret. On his blog, Cuban contended the facts were false and that the investigation was a product of gross abuse of prosecutorial discretion. Dealbook, a section of the New York Times, reported through an anonymous source that Cuban believed the investigation was motivated by an SEC employee having taken offense to his interest in possibly distributing the film Loose Change. In July 2009, the U.S. District Court dismissed the charges against Cuban, and the SEC appealed. In September 2010, an appeals court said that the district court had erred and that further proceedings would be necessary to address the merits of the suit. A federal jury in Texas found in favor of Cuban on October 16, 2013. The 9-member jury issued the verdict after deliberating 3 hours and 35 minutes. In March 2014, Cuban was on air at CNBC criticizing high-frequency trading. Those against HFT, such as Cuban, believe the technology is equivalent to automated insider trading. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?